The next set of games I want to talk about are our foundation games. Now you're probably wondering why I didn't start here. It's sort of because you're going to be working on these things through the life of your gun dog or your companion dog. So these are things like boundary games or placeboard games, patience games, your dog learning to have patience, building their tolerance of frustration. These are things like healing, sit, and basic obedience. Again, taught in a very fun, positive way. Recall. Recall is about proximity. If you build value around you and the fun around you, you're going to end up with a good recall. And then for our gun dogs, we are going to need to have whistle cues. This might be a recall whistle, turn whistles, draw whistles, etc. All of these foundation games build that core concept of trust and relationship. We can also call them patient games or delayed gratification. If you're patient and relaxed and calm, something good will follow. So some examples for you. I challenge my students to really take a hard look at their everyday life with their dog and find those areas in your daily interaction with your dog where you could build this patience, you could build this trust. I'm not saying to overly control your dog, but look at where things might be happening in and around your home that could be sabotaging your gun dog training. So some things you might want to think about: healing to your training area, maybe even to the toilet area, healing around your reinforcers, around the tennis ball, around your cold game. Can your dog do that? Taking your time before sending to a retrieve or releasing to hunt. Take a deep breath. You be calm, patience. That energy of calmness will also transfer to your dog. Patience at meal times. How long do we have our dogs sit and wait? Out of sight patience. Can they wait while we're not there? This is huge. Or are they little cheeky monkeys and steal that reinforcement? Patience on delivery of reinforcement. A lot of our dogs are high drive dogs. They're pushy dogs and they're pushing us for reinforcement. Again, take it just a deep breath, calm, relax, and feed slowly. This is a fun game I call Disengagement Square. I learned this game from Absolute Dogs, and of course I've put my own little spin on it. Essentially what I'm asking her to do, and my other dog Tolly is patiently watching, so he's a distraction. Millie has incredible value for those place boards, so I'm seeing if she will listen to my cues and not just assume and anticipate what I'm going to ask her to do, because again, I'm always trying to switch her up and keep her thinking. Now I've put a tennis ball down on that other Cato board. Now she may think that I'm immediately going to send her to it, but I'm not. We're going to do a little healing first. And you'll see she does anticipate the pattern here. So patterns are fabulous, but they can anticipate things, and she anticipates a stop. I wanted to keep moving. So you always want to keep them thinking. Now she's looking at the tennis ball, thinking about the tennis ball, but she doesn't get the tennis ball until I send her. Again, she's going to anticipate being sent, but she checks herself, so I'm really happy about that. I'm going to try that one more time. And she checks herself again, because I often spin her like that before I send her, but it should be done only on cue. Now the tennis ball, it's a little hard to see. It's right in the middle of this square, and all I'm doing is healing her around the tennis ball. So she's disengaging from it, really important. She's paying attention to me. There's trust that she's going to eventually get the tennis ball, and she does. With any of these games, have fun with them. Again, it's not about massive control. It's about trust and partnership, that you listen, hey, you're going to get your cake and you're going to get to eat it too. So again, just have fun with your pup and play well. This next and last set of games focuses on the concept of disengagement. Now, this is a core concept for our gun dogs, and it's also a core concept for our companion dogs. Lots of games for you. Let's get started. This first game is the snuffle mat game, or sit and stop during olfaction. Can my dog listen? Can they disengage while they're engrossed in searching and hunting? So the other day out in my yard, I saw a squirrel and it bounded out of the yard. But I saw where it went, and as we approached that area, Millie picked up on the scent. I saw the body language change, she got fizzy, and I got on my whistle and I called her, and I got the most brilliant recall ever. And it stems, quite honestly, from this game. So how do we play? We're going to start with a snuffle mat or grass, or go outside and find any kind of textured ground where your food will blend in and your dog's going to need to search or hunt for it. Ask your dog to sit and let them watch as you throw 1 to 2 pieces of food out onto the ground. Release your dog to eat the food. Now here's the little tricky bit. While they're searching, throw another piece out behind their back so that they don't see you do it. And just as they finished eating those first 1 to 2 pieces, I want you to cue your sit. This can be a verbal cue, a sit whistle. It could actually be your leave it cue. And assuming they disengage and sit, release them back to search, to hunt, and they're going to find the piece that you tossed out while they weren't looking. Aha! You've suddenly become a little bit more important. Now, as they're searching for that piece of food, toss another one behind their back. You get the idea. We can build a pattern here. You can also verbally cue or signal them to search an empty area. As they're searching, toss a piece of food out again so they don't see it, and watch those hand movements because they're watching you. And again, cue your sit whistle, verbal, a leave that, whatever you choose. When they sit, release them back to find the treat. You can also play this game using 2 snuffle mats. And that's just really fun because you can now move them from one area to another area. You're going to build the pattern of the game, manipulate your reinforcers so that they will disengage from searching and eating before being released to continue. Now, you can release them to continue, or you can feed them a higher reinforcer directly to their mouth if you choose. It's a super fun game, and if you think about it, when your dog is out hunting and you need them to stop and to listen to you, it's going to come back to a game just like this. Good boy. This next series of games are immense. So remember to always warm your dog up with desire by sending them to the reinforcer. Otherwise, you're going to get a sticky dog. So when you're playing this game, we're going to have our dog in a sit. Now you can toss out a favorite reinforcer. You can go place one. You can roll one by, but you're going to let it go static. Now, you've just warmed your dog up, so when you release them to get it, they should take off like a rocket. And set them up for success. Don't wait till they're almost there before you call them off. You might only send them and they might go 5 feet. You call them back. It's going to be easier for them if you do that. But the idea is you send them out, you call them back, you reinforce with maybe something even better than you put out, and then maybe you send them back for what they called away from. This is a super, super fun game, and now it's going to get even funner. With this next level of the game, instead of recalling the dog back to you, we're going to ask them to stop en route. Now you have some options. Depends on what you need to reinforce. If they stop, you can have them continue on to that reinforcer. You can call them back to you. Mix it up. That first game is brilliant to get that recall off the reinforcer. This game is great for that emergency stop. Again, your prey right now is static. In this next level of the game, the prey, guess what? It's going to be moving. This is the game where the rubber really meets the road, so to speak, because instead of static prey, your prey is going to be moving. So ideally, if you have a dog with ball drive, it's really, really helpful here. And again, that ball can be a tennis ball, it can be a rabbit ball, but you know what? You can roll a canvas dummy down a hill. So be creative in how you play this game. You're going to roll out that reinforcer, that ball. And as it's moving, it hasn't come to a stop yet, is when I want you to send your dog. Now you have options. You can stop your dog on their verbal sit or your sit whistle. You can recall your dog with your recall whistle or a verbal recall, whatever you need at that point. And your reinforcement options, you can reinforce back with you with something of a higher value and then send them right back to what they just recalled or stopped off of. Mix it up. This is no different than, as a companion dog owner, the squirrel that bolts across your dog's path as you're walking on leash. Or if you're out doing gun dog work, the runner, right? Your dog picks up on the pheasant or the chucker that's running, and you don't really want your dog running into the next county, so you need to stop them and recall them back. And this could be a rabbit. The same principle applies. Super, super important game, guys. I've thrown a lot at you guys in this last hour or so, which I have a tendency to do, but I really hope you enjoyed the presentation and it gave you some ideas for you and your dog. And I just want to leave you with this little video clip of one of my students. Her German Shorthair used to chase her cat all over the house, and by playing these games, look how far they've come. Just amazing. Cheers, everyone. Good girl.